Hello students, in this video we are going to study our next chapter, that is chapter number 5. The chapter name is Coal and Petroleum. Class 8, Subject Science NCERT. In this chapter we are going to know about the natural resources and what is their need. We will understand the importance of these natural resources in our daily life. And we will see that how to maintain these resources. We will also study about coal, petroleum, natural gas and some natural resources which are limited. So now let me start our chapter number 5, coal and petroleum. So we use various materials for our basic needs in our day-to-day life. Some of them are found in nature and some of these have been made by human efforts. We are using many materials around us, and from these materials we are getting from the nature and some materials are man-made. So here one activity is given to you, that make a list of various materials used by us in daily life and classify them as natural and man-made. We have to list some of the materials which we are using in our daily life, and we have to also classify them according to the source from which we are getting, either from nature or it is whether man-made. So you can write here by your own some of the natural resources which we are using in our daily life are air, sunlight, water. We are using air to breathe, we are using sunlight to get heat, as well as we are also using water, then clay, coal, petroleum, natural gas, trees, fruits, vegetables, then different minerals and natural fibers like cotton, jute, etc. So these are some of the natural material or the material name of the materials which we are using in our day-to-day life, and we are getting this from the nature, or these are the natural materials. Now in the man-made we are using petroleum products, and in that we are using plastic, then synthetic fibers. We had seen that synthetic fibers are made by the chemical processes on the petrochemicals. So this is also made by man. Then we are also using rubber, vehicles, soap, perfumes, household goods, then after recreational tools, etc. Recreational tools, that means the tools which we are using for the different enjoyment or entertainment activities like dancing, swimming, etc. So these are the materials which we are using in our day-to-day life and made by men. So now, does this list include air, water, soil and minerals? You have to prepare this list by your own, and then after check that whether this list contains all these items like air, water, soil and minerals. So since all these are obtained from nature, they are called natural resources. The resources which we are getting from the nature is known as the natural resources. So now Bujaho has one question, that can we use all our natural resources forever? So that you had studied already, and we will study again it here, that can air, water and soil be exhausted by human activities, or they are limitless? So you have already studied about water in class 7, and is water a limitless resource? So now let me see that which are the resources which are exhaustible and inexhaustible natural resources. So in the light of the availability of various resources in nature, natural resources can be broadly classified into two kinds. As their availability in nature, depending on that, the natural resources are classified into two main categories, that is inexhaustible natural resources and exhaustible natural resources. So first here inexhaustible natural resources are given to you. So these resources are present in unlimited quantity in nature and are not likely to be exhausted by human activities. So this kind of natural resources are known as the inexhaustible natural resources. The resources which are present in unlimited quantity, that means they are limitless, and after using it cannot be exhaustible, that means they will not finish. So this kind of natural resources are known as the inexhaustible natural resources. Like here two examples are also given to you, that sunlight and air. These both are the inexhaustible natural resources. Other than that, water is also inexhaustible natural resources. By using the air and sunlight, it will not get finished. We can use it over years and years. So these are the inexhaustible natural resources. The another type is inexhaustible natural resources. So the amount of these natural resources in nature is limited. This kind of natural resources are limited in nature, and they can be exhausted by human activities. By the human activities, one day they will get finished. So these kind of natural resources are known as the exhaustible natural resources, which are limited in quantity in nature and they will get exhausted or finished by the human activities. So these kind of natural resources are known as the exhaustible natural resources. Like examples are given to you here, that forest, wildlife, minerals, coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. are the examples of exhaustible natural resources. So now the question is that how these exhaustible natural resources get finished one day. So for that, one activity is given to you here. Activity number 5.2. Here this one is the group activity. You can perform this with your friends. For that you have to take some containers, fill them with the popcorn or peanuts. You can also use roasted gram, toffees, etc. Now divide these students into groups of 7 each. In one group there should be 7 students. Now this group of 7 students is further divided into 3 subgroups, and these 3 subgroups contain this number of students are given to you, that is 1, 2 and 4. That means in one group there should be 1 student, in the another group there should be 2 students, and in the third group there should be 4 students. So that means total 7 students should be there in one group, and in subgroups the number of students are 1, 2 and 4, total 7. Now label them as first, second and third generation respectively. Now give the name of this subgroup as the first, second and third generation. Now then after, these subgroups are represents the consumers. The consumers, that means the persons who are consuming anything or who are using this who are going to using this popcorn, peanuts, whatever you had taken. So they are known as they represent themselves as the consumers. So now as the population is growing, the second and third generation have larger number of consumers. As in the second and third group, we had seen that in the second group, the number of students are 2, and in the third number of subgroup, the number of students are 4. So as we had seen, or we are observing that the population is day by day increasing. So because of this, the number of consumers are increasing in the second and third generations. Now put one full container for each group on a table. For one group, you have to put one container and ask consumer of first generation from each group to consume eatables from the containers of their group. So first you have to give a chance to a subgroup of first generation and ask them to consume or to eat the eatables which are there in the container in front of their group. Now ask the second generation consumers from each group to do the same from this same container. After the first generation group consume that items, eatables, so then after you have to give a chance to a second generation consumers. And ask the students to observe carefully the availability of eatables in each container. And if some things is left in the container, then ask third generation from each group to consume it. And now finally observe whether all the consumers of the third generation got eatables or not. And observe if anything is still left in any of the containers. Once the second generation group consume all eatables, then after you have to give a chance to the consumers of the third generation. And while this, observe that how much eatables are left for the third generation, and once the third generation consume the eatables, then after observe that anything is left in the container or not. So now take a look at this chart of this activity. So here the chart for this activity is given to you. You have to first classify the students or your friends in the group of 7. So each group contains 7 number of students. Now you have to further classify these students into 3 subgroups. In that first group will contain 1 student, second group will contain 2 students, and the third subgroup will contain 4 students. That means total 1 plus 2, 3, and 3 plus 4, 7. So total you will get 7 students. Now you have to name the subgroups of this. So first subgroup name was first generation. Name the second subgroup as the second generation, and the third subgroup as the third generation. Now put one container which is filled with the eatables, whatever you had taken, in front of each group. So for the students of 7 in a group, you have to put one container. So now give a chance first to the first generation, that means this group. So this will consume eatables, some amount of eatables for the first generation. So here you can see that for the first generation, the availability of these eatables is full of container. So after the first generation consume this eatable, then after give a chance to second generation subgroup. So after first generation consume it, the container will look like this. So the second generation will get a chance to consume this much of eatable. So this amount of availability of this eatable is for second generation. And here you can see that in second generation the number of students increase. So as we had seen or discussed, the population is day by day increasing. So here also on the second generation the number of students increase. So the availability of this eatable will get reduced for each consumer. And now once the second generation group consume eatables, the amount of the eatables that is remain in the container will look like this. Now give the chance to the third generation. So as the population is increasing, on the third generation you can observe that the number of students get doubled. In the second generation the students are 2, in the third generation the students are 4. That means population increase, so the availability for each consumer or the chances to get the eatables for each consumer get reduced. And here you can also see the availability of eatables is also reduced. So it may be also possible that from these consumers some will not get any eatables. So you have to observe this, and the eatables available for the third generation are this much. So you have to observe this activity for all of the group, and you might notice that in some of the groups for the third generation the eatables are not left, and after the third generation consume these eatables, observe the eatables which are left in the containers. So Pre-assume that the containers have been, now we have to compare this situation with our natural resources. So for that, pre-assume that the containers have been filled with exhaustible natural resources. Here for in place of popcorn, peanuts or roasted grams, we have to assume that these containers are filled with the exhaustible natural resources. That means the resources which will get exhausted or finished on the one day. So the natural resources like coal, petroleum or natural gas. So the method of use of each group may be different. May be possible that each generation are using these natural resources in different ways. Whether it is also possible that next generation in any group was greedy. So they are using more amount of these natural resources. It may also be happen that in the group of there are fewer generation who keep in mind for the next generation. If someone is smart enough or he will conserve this natural resources, then it may be possible that fewer generation will keep this thing in their mind that this should be also, we should have to save these natural resources for our next generation. They are fewer ones. So as shown in this activity, each generation uses natural and man-made substance, and the next generation using the remaining sources. And due to this uses of at the each step, the substance for the next generation decreases. Here as we had seen, each time the amount of eatables are decreases. So this suggests that every generation should think for the next generation and use the materials economically and carefully. So if this is not happen, then there will be nothing left for the next generation and their existence will be endangered. If the third generation will consume all the eatables, then it is possible that if the fourth generation will come there, then there will be nothing left for them. So we have to use these natural resources wisely and carefully. So to save these natural resources, first we have to know, or we should know about our natural resources which are exhaustible. So in this chapter, we will learn about some exhaustible natural resources like coal, petroleum and natural gas. And they were formed from the dead remains of living organisms. Dead remainings of the living organisms they are formed, which is also known as the fossils. So these are formed from the fossils, so that's why these are also known as the fossil fuels. So here let me start with the coal. So you may have seen coal or heard about it. You might have seen this coal or you heard about this. It is shown here in the figure. It is as hard as stone and is black in color. This one is the black in color and hard as like the stone. Here in the figure it is shown to you. So coal is one of the fuels which is used to cook food earlier. Earlier people were using this coal, or nowadays also some peoples are using this coal as a fuel to cook the food. And earlier it was used in the railway engines to produce steam to run the engine. Earlier it was also used to run the engines of railways, and it is also used in the thermal plants to produce electricity, and coal is also used as the fuel in various industries. So these are the uses of coal is given to you. It is used to cook food. It is used as the fuel to run the railway engines, railway steam engines. It is used in the thermal power plants to produce electricity, and in the various industries it is also used as the fuels. So now the question is that how this coal is formed. So here for that story of coal is given to you. The Paheli has the same question that where do we get coal from and how is it formed? So about 300 million years ago, the earth had dense forest in low-lying wetland areas. Around 300 million years ago, the earth has dense forest. That means the forest or the land that is covered with trees, large number of trees. In wetland area, the area which is suitable for the trees. Due to natural processes like flooding, this forest got buried under the soil. But after some natural processes like flooding, these forests got buried under the soil, and as more soil deposited over this forest, they were compressed. And the temperature also rose or rise as they sunk deeper and deeper. They sink deeper and deeper, and the temperature also increases, and the pressure also increase. So under a high pressure and high temperature, dead plants got slowly converted to coal. So as coal contains many carbon, the slow process of conversion of this dead vegetation, or you can say the dead parts of the plants, different parts of the plants, that is dried leaves, stems. So this dead vegetation, the process of conversion of this dead vegetation into coal is known as the carbonization, because the coal contains carbon. And since it was formed from the remains of vegetation, coal is also called a fossil fuel. It is formed from the fossil or the dead vegetation, so it is also known as the fossil fuel. And the coal mine is shown to you in the next figure. So this is how we are getting, or how the coal is formed. After a long years ago, the earth had contained the forest, and due to some natural processes like flooding, these forests get buried, and after many years, because of the high temperature, high pressure, this dead vegetation get converted into coal. And this process of converting this vegetation into coal is known as the carbonization, and this is how, by the process of this, the coal, we are getting the coal, or the vegetation get converted into coal. As the coal we are getting from the fossil, it is also known as the fossil fuel. Here the coal mine is shown to you, and from this coal mine we are getting the coal. When heated in air, when we are heating this coal in air, coal burns and produces mainly carbon dioxide gas. As it contains carbon, so by process with the air or the oxygen in the air, it will produce carbon dioxide gas. And the coal is processed in industry to get some useful products such as coke, coal tar and coal gas. From this coal we are getting some other useful products like coke, coal tar and coal gas. So here next product of this coal is given to you, that is coke. So coke is a tough, porous and black substance. Porous, that means the substance which has very small or tiny holes inside it. So the coke is a tough or hard, porous and black substance. It is an almost pure form of carbon. And coke is used in manufacture of steel and in the extraction of many metals. Extraction, that means distillation or the derivation. To get the metals from its compounds, we are doing one process. So for that process is known as the extraction process. So to extract the metals from its compound, this coke is used, or in the manufacturing process of steel, coke is also used, and it is the pure form of the carbon. Next is coal tar. Here the picture is also shown to you, coal tar. So it is a black thick liquid with an unpleasant smell. You might have already seen this while people are making the road, they are using this coal tar. So it is a mixture of around 200 substances. The products obtained from the coal tar are used as the starting materials for manufacturing various substances used in our everyday life in industries. This has wide and variety of uses, and it is the mixture of around 200 substances. The products which we are obtaining from the coal tar is used as the starting material for the many manufacturing industries. Here some uses are given to you also, like synthetic dyes, drugs, explosives, perfumes, plastics, paints, photographic materials, roofing materials, the materials which are used for the roofing purpose, etc. So these are the uses of this coal tar. And interestingly, the naphthalene balls used to repel the moths and the other insects are also obtained from coal tar. The naphthalene balls you had seen, the white color balls, these are white in color. It is also known as the moth balls. So it is a kind of pesticide and deodorant. It has also a pleasant smell used when storing clothes. When we are storing the clothes to prevent the damage from the mold or moth, we are using these naphthalene balls. This is the picture of naphthalene balls, and it is also made up of coal tar. And these days, bitumen, a petroleum product, is used in place of coal tar for melting the roads. While making the roads or metalling the roads, the coal tar is used, and nowadays in place of this coal tar, bitumen is used, and bitumen is the petroleum product or the product which we are getting from the petroleum. Next is coal gas. The product of coal is coal gas. So coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke. In the process of getting coke from the coal gas is produced and it is used as the fuel in many industries which are situated near the coal processing plant. While making the coke from the coal, it is obtained and it is also used in the industries as the fuel. Here one fact is given to you that the coal gas was used for street lighting for the first time in London in 1810. Earlier it was used for the lighting purpose as it is the illuminating gas. So for the lighting purpose first it was used in the London in 1810 and in the New York around 1820. And nowadays it is used as the source of heat rather than light. Nowadays we are using this to get heat or for the purpose of heating. So this is the use of coal gas. So till now we had seen that resources obtained from nature are known as the natural resources. And there are two types of natural resources, that is exhaustible and inexhaustible. So inexhaustible natural resources are present in unlimited quantity, whereas exhaustible natural resources are in limited quantity in nature. The fuels formed by the remains of dead plants and animals are called fossil fuels. Coal, petroleum and natural gas are fossil fuels because we are getting it from the dead plants and animals remaining. Coal is a fossil fuel formed by deeply buried remains of vegetation under compression, high pressure and high temperature over millions of years ago. The process of conversion of the dead vegetation into coal is known as the carbonization because the coal mainly contain carbon and it is very slow process. It takes hundreds of years and coal is produced to obtain coke, coal tar and coal gas. In that we had seen that coke is a tough, porous and black substance and it is used in the extraction of many metals and it is an almost pure form of carbon. Next product we had seen, that is coal tar. It is a black thick liquid with an unpleasant smell and it is used in many industries as primary or you can say starting material. And coal gas then after we had seen. So coal gas is obtained during the processing of coal to get coke and it is also used as the fuel. So these are the things we had seen in this video. In the next video we will see the remaining part of this chapter. Thank you.